Stop buying Nike football boots, Adidas football boots, Puma football boots, any big brand at that second tier takedown. So I'm talking about Nike Academy, Adidas League, Puma Match, that kind of thing. Because in this box, I have the TLSS Striker 0.717, and this is £80, which is exactly the same price as you're going to pay for a lot of these takedowns. And this is far beyond any of them. It is miles ahead of anything you're going to get from a big brand for this money. In actual fact, it's a lot closer to those pro tier models that Nike, Adidas, Puma are charging around £150 for. So maybe consider these instead. And let's talk about why. First, let's get them out of the box. So you can see we've got the boots here, which look rather lovely. And then you get a really great string bag. So here's your first thing, presentation. Really nice slide draw box. You're going to get a string bag, which is incredibly good quality, I must admit. And inside this box, I have absolutely lost them. No, I haven't. They're in the boot. Hold on. Inside as well, TLSS are providing you with these, which are little heel pads. So what you can do is you can take these out of the packet and you can just unstick them, and you can stick them into the heel to provide you with a little bit of extra cushion or support should you need it. And I think that's a really cool little addition. Probably cost them absolutely nothing to include that, but I really appreciate that they did, and it's thinking outside the box. So again, when are you going to get that from a Nike, Adidas, Puma, etc. league level model? It's just not going to happen. So presentation, huge win for the TLSS. Next, now if you are going to buy these, we're going to talk about the sizing. So I have these in a US 8, UK 7, 26 centimeter boot. Now that corresponds to the 26 centimeters that my foot is. So I have a 26 centimeter long foot. I correspond that to the 26 centimeter Japanese sizing, and these boots fit me pretty much perfectly in length. When it comes to the width, what we've got is a reasonable amount of width in this one-piece upper, and I don't feel particularly squeezed or pinched anywhere. Now, if you have a regular width foot, this is going to be absolutely fine. Narrow foot, pretty good. And if you have a wide foot, these should be okay. It is a little tight in the toe box. So if you have a very wide forefoot, you might find that they are a little squeezy. Now, I have a wide forefoot, and these do fit me okay, but I am a little bit on the borderline of what I could accept. So if it was any tighter or my foot was any wider, I probably wouldn't get away with it. But if you do just have a generally wider foot shape, these should be absolutely fine. Onto the upper, where we're getting a Teijin synthetic upper, and if you know your boots, you know that that is the material that Nike used for quite some time on a lot of their Vapors, for example, Vapor 10s, and that is what this is most similar to. It's a Vapor 10 style, almost slightly stickiness, and then they've added on top of that what they've called T-Gecko skin, which are all of these lines which are rubbery elements just to give you a little bit of extra grip and touch on the ball. I'm actually not sure they're required at all, but they are indeed there. This is a big improvement on what we got on the previous generation. So this is the previous generation TLSS Striker, and it looks very, very similar. The actual Gecko grip, which they previously called T-Wet grip, which is now T-Gecko skin. Anyway, this is basically the same. However, on the new model, the general basis to the Carvo is much, much softer and a little stickier. It's thinner, it's more pliable, it is 100 times better than what you got on the Striker. You can see this is just much thicker, much stiffer, and you have quite a big area around the toe here where it's very, very stiff. They've got rid of that here. It's a little bit more pointed, which is why I say about it being that little bit tighter for a wider foot. But overall, this soft, malleable, pliable Teijin synthetic is absolutely fantastic and better than anything you're going to get from an academy level boot at this price, and is absolutely in competition and better than an awful lot of pro tier models. It just makes a lot of sense to be considering something like this. Think about it. Why buy a Mercurial Pro at £150 when you buy this at £80? And this is, in my opinion, better. It just doesn't make sense. The only difference is it's got a different brand name on it. It's not a swoosh. Do we care? Well, I don't care. Anyway, on to more reasons to buy this and not a Nike boot. Onto the outsole, and this is the MG option with all of these conical studs with a few slightly more aggressive triangular ones up through the forefoot, and this is a phenomenal option for AG and hard ground pitches. You even get a chrome wearable finish across the boot. Now it does come off pretty quickly. You can kind of see on some of my studs that is already worn off just after a couple of sessions, probably 2 hours, and we're already seeing it go, but it's something that you'd anticipate getting off a much higher end boot like an Elite. So this is a great option for those harder surfaces. Now the outsole itself I think is only okay. It's a thinner plastic. It's made out of Pebax, which is a very premium material from a French manufacturer, but it is on the thinner side, and they've beefed that up with Carvo. So Carvo is a carbon fiber like material, which I can actually show you if you can see it down the boot. So there's a black area down the front kind of half of the boot there. That is Carvo. Looks a little bit like carbon fiber, and it's essentially plastic that acts like carbon fiber. And what it does, it just gives you a very springy, responsive forefoot, which is absolutely fantastic. Now the midfoot is still a little bit flexy. It could be a little bit more stable, especially up in the heel here. I think this is too flexible, which means they're over relying on the Carvo in the forefoot where they've not put enough structure through the midfoot and the heel. So that would be a criticism that I have of the boot, but overall it is pretty good. And we do have to remember that this is an £80 boot, and for example the Tiempo Pro folds in 2, so you know, let's not criticize it that much. There is an FG version of this, which looks exactly like this. Now, this is great for FG, not so good for AG surfaces, and is also more expensive. This one comes in at about £100 to get the FG outsole. So if you can get the AG, get yourself that, save yourself the money. Now, if you are looking to buy these, they're not the easiest to find all around the world, so I would recommend checking out Tokyo Football. I'll leave some links down the top pinned comment and description. I do not receive a commission or any kind of kickback from recommending Tokyo Football. It's just where I get my boots from. They've always been really great to me. They ship worldwide. You can get Asics, Mizuno, the TLSS, loads of stuff at way cheaper prices, and they are absolutely fantastic to deal with. So for me, check out Tokyo Football for your TLSS and for anything like Asics or Mizuno boots as well. Just an absolute go-to. As I say, no benefit to the channel to you doing that. Just go ahead and do it. While we have the insole out, we might as well look at it, and you can see that it is a pretty premium synthetic suede material all across the top of the insole, far better than what you get on some elite level boots, particularly Nike elite level boots at the moment. And you've even got a little bit of extra padding with this extra little heel pocket just here. You can see as your heel's going to press on that, you've just got extra comfort and padding, and that's going to feel really nice. And it's shaped up and around your heel. This is a really great insole. And if we flip it over, we've got a really nice foam through there as well. This is just a good quality insole. And then underneath that, we have the T-Flash foam, which is more cushioning and more foam that runs underneath the boot. And this is just excellent. It's just adding more comfort. This is something, again, you're not getting on elite level boots from Nike, Adidas, etc. Now, I'm not saying that this is of elite boot quality. I'm saying it has some tech that is elite boot quality, but when you look at the boot overall, it's more of that pro tier level and absolutely wipes the floor with anything that's around the same price point of it from those major brands. Lockdown overall is pretty good. I don't have any problems with it, especially through the midfoot. You got a reasonably deep lacing system there on a one-piece upper, and you get a good amount of lockdown. The heel is fine. It does a decent job as well. I don't have any problems, no hot spots or anything like that. The padding is pretty straightforward, just this loop around the back of the heel and then a pretty hard point at the bottom, but you don't really feel that. I think overall the heel design is fine. I don't have any issues with it. Lockdown is fine. We'll move along. I should also show you the Libero, which is this laceless version from TLSS as well. There is a new version of this coming shortly, so maybe you don't want to pick this one up if you want to wait for the new version. But this also I have with the MG outsole, and it is exactly the same between the two. The only thing that TLSS have done between the previous generation and the current generation with the outsoles is they've thinned that carvo out we were talking about by 0.1 of a millimeter, which actually you can tell, but overall I don't think an issue one bit. So what you have here are multiple elements that are, for example, made in Japan, such as the carvo and the Teijin synthetic upper, put together on a boot made in China with a huge amount of additional tech that you're not getting off anything that is even up at the elite level. However, when you put everything together, you look at the performance, the quality of materials, the build, even things like the laces, which are fairly thick kind of cotton laces, not of the most premium material. And then you look at the build, as I was just saying, you can see there's a little bit of glue spillage around here, and that outsole, even though it's P-backs, being a little bit on the thinner side. Again, you can see a little bit of glue spillage around here as well. It does mean that I can't recommend the TLSS as what you would consider an elite level boot, but that's completely fine because it's £80. Like, who's expecting an elite level boot for £80 in 2025? But when you take into account everything that I've said, you can surely see that this is significantly better than an Academy League or match level boot, and is definitely more in line with something that you're going to pick up from that pro level. So for me, you absolutely should consider these if you are looking at takedown level Nike boots, Adidas boots, Puma boots, or anything like that, and you should definitely pick them up from Tokyo Football. If you want to see my playtest reviews of the previous generations, this one and this one, you can click the videos that are on screen right now.